You step off the crowded hub of Disneyland by the castle, and suddenly everything slows down. Welcome to Frontierland. It's here where the pavement changes under your feet. There's that smell of rustic wood, river water, and food in the air. You can even hear a train whistle echoing in the distance. And just like that, you're not in Disneyland anymore. You're in the Old West. Welcome back to Castle Talk Radio. I'm Jessica, and I am heading up this episode of our solo series where we break down each land at Disneyland. This episode is about Frontierland, and I'm super excited to share some of the things that I've learned during my research about Frontierland. Things that I've known, things that you probably walk by and don't realize are right there in front of you. So, we're going to talk about what Frontierland is about, how to prioritize the attractions, what's there, where to eat, what to eat, and the history and the details that really make this land more meaningful than a lot of people realize. So, Frontierland sits right on the edge of Rivers of America, and it's designed to represent the American frontier during the westward expansion. But what I think is really interesting and something that we can learn to appreciate is how much of this land is tied directly to Walt Disney himself. Because Walt was obsessed with American history, of course, obsessed with storytelling, and he really loved the idea of exploration and progress. So, Frontierland isn't just about cowboys and canyons and Native Americans, it's about adventure, risk, and moving into the unknown. So you have a really simple layout. You have the river anchoring everything, and then your attractions kind of branch off from there. Frontierland blends so seamlessly into Adventureland and even into Fantasyland that you kind of forget where it starts and ends. But it's a great transition space into these other areas, but also a place that you want to stop and feel that calm and feel that sense of exploration. So let's start with the attractions. We have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which is the one that you probably think of first. Big Thunder is one of the most re-rideable attractions in Disneyland because it's quick, it's smooth, it's a thrill ride, but it's not too big of thrills. It's kind of just right. Not huge drops, but enough momentum to get things going. I think this is, again, a re-ride attraction, something that you want to ride in the morning for rope drop, or use your lightning lane throughout the day, but you also want to ride it at night. It's one of my favorite nighttime attractions. It's one that we often do more than once in a day at Disneyland. So, again, lightning lane multipass is available, but you don't always need it if crowds aren't as high for this attraction. You probably want to prioritize other attractions that tend to run out of their lightning lanes earlier, something like Indiana Jones Adventure, which is in your nearby Adventureland. But this also makes it so that you can ride Big Thunder more than once because you should be able to hit it with low wait times that you can use the standby line and then reserve a lightning lane multi-pass for later on in the day. And quick tip, you definitely want to get your tickets at a discount from getawaytoday.com/castletalk. Those are our partners. And then you can also add Lightning Lane to your tickets and you'll be able to lock in a Lightning Lane price instead of being subject to the dynamic pricing. All right, so Big Thunder Mountain's also a really good intro roller coaster, along the lines of an intro roller coaster for younger kids. And being that most of it is outside and they can see what's going to happen is a great way to introduce them to. Now, we do have a part of the ride that is really loud with dynamite explosions and things like that. So, if there's some sound sensitivity, you could definitely use headphones for that. So, other attractions in this area. Yes, there are more. We have Sailing Ship Columbia and the Mark Twain Riverboat, which load and dock right there just across from Big Thunder Mountain. Now they kind of alternate. So if they're both running, you can hit Mark Twain Riverboat, or if you just miss that, the next one that is going to be Sailing Ship Columbia. So those are a really great way to change your perspective. When you're on the ground there at Disneyland, you're seeing that same look, as magical as it is. You're seeing that same view, that same perspective as everyone else. But when you hop aboard one of these water boat attractions, they're a slower pace. There is some narrating going on there that tells you a little bit about the area and the rivers of America, but you're going to see things from a completely different view. You'll see New Orleans Square as you go by. You'll see Bayou Country. You'll see kind of into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and just a different perspective that you really can't get anywhere else. I love using those as a midday break, especially Mark Twain Riverboat, because it offers more shade and more areas to explore, I think. Sailing Ship Columbia does have a below deck option to explore. And if you do hit Sailing Ship Columbia, I suggest to stay up top for the first half of the river and then go ahead and go down and explore underneath during the second half, because most people go underneath right away and it's a lot more crowded. But if you head down there during the second half, a lot of people are done there. Mark Twain Riverboat, also a great place to propose. I have a full article on places to propose at Disneyland on the happiestblogonearth.com, and I think Mark Twain Riverboat is a fantastic idea. So not only that, let's see, I've got so many notes on this that I'm so excited to share about. Mark Twain Riverboat also has some Disney history in it. Just days before the opening of Disneyland Park in 1955, Walt and his wife Lillian gathered some of their closest friends for a 30th wedding anniversary celebration. And now I'm like, maybe I should recreate this for our 30th wedding anniversary someday. So here's what they did. They invited their guests, and of course, this was before Disneyland had even opened, so they had this space all to themselves. They invited the guests onto Mark Twain Riverboat's maiden voyage around the rivers of America. Then they had dinner at another event, or Frontierland. See, those two are so close that I like mix them up. But another Frontierland staple, which is the Golden Horseshoe. So them and their guests went to Golden Horseshoe and they had a celebration with Disney legends and all kinds of fun things. So you can still eat in the Golden Horseshoe today. You can actually still eat in the spot that Walt and Lillian sat at in the Golden Horseshoe, which is so cool to just really relive this experience. Another thing with Walt and Lillian that you might notice as you're strolling along the rivers of America is what I like to call the best hidden regift, not so hidden, in Disneyland. Yeah, Lillian regifted this. You might have noticed it's a large piece of what seems to be a rock, but it's really a petrified tree. And it has a plaque outside of it, so you can read about it. But according to Disney family legend, Walt and Lillian were driving through the mountains of Colorado Springs in 1956. And they stopped at Pike's Petrified Forest. And this is another anniversary celebration. So this is right around their 31st anniversary. And Lillian was waiting in the car, and Walt took a tour and he purchased this 5-ton stump of petrified tree. And according to the family history, he joked that it was an anniversary gift. And she regifted this to Disneyland and said, you know what, you guys enjoy it. So I don't know, go ahead, go enjoy it. It's still there. And it's gifted to Disneyland by Lillian, Mrs. Disney herself. Okay, other things that you might see in Frontierland. You might see the remnants of an old attraction there. And there's actually a couple. Let's see if I can find that on my notes where we're looking at. So, Big Thunder Mountain wasn't the first attraction to be there. It was actually a couple of other things. From 1956 to 1959, there was the Rainbow Caverns Mine Train attraction, and it was a train tour through the Old West. And then later, this attraction became Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland, and that was from 1960 to 1977. So it wasn't the high speed attraction that we know today, but you can still see some remnants of the tracks there of the mine train through Nature's Wonderland. It's a really cool little piece of Disney history. You'll see this track and it looks like decoration, or like it's going into nowhere, like, and it's an abandoned mine, and yeah, it is abandoned. Another way to see that really well is on the Rivers of America when you're doing the Mark Twain Riverboat or Sailing Ship Columbia. All right, so on to another attraction that is part of Frontierland. Can you believe it? So we've got 3 that we've talked about already, when really you only think of like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. That's Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer Island. That's right. Even though you get to it from another land over in New Orleans Square, you have the raft to Tom Sawyer Island. This part is actually part of Frontierland, and it's really a place of exploration and play. Now, most of the paths there are dirt and unpaved. It is a free range playground full of caves and taverns and trails and things to explore. There is a bathroom on site there. They normally don't sell concessions on the island. So I like to grab like a frozen banana or some type of ice cream and then let it defrost a little bit on the raft over and enjoy it as I do a little loop around Tom Sawyer Island. It is dusty. It can get a little bit dirty over there. Also, if you're with your kids, it's easy to maybe misplace them for a minute or two as they're exploring caves. If you're not going in the caves with them because it goes in one way, out another. But again, they're not going to leave the island without you because you do have to take a raft back. And then there's this whole section of pirate's treasure and things like that. So it is a great place to go, but the hours there are limited and you want to go there when it's not as hot for sure. So keep an eye on the hours for that. Now let's go into food for Frontierland. We've got Rancho del Zocalo. This one is hit or miss, you guys. I tend to like it, but I get so much feedback from people about like having a really good experience there, having a not so great experience. So it's used to be traditional Mexican food, and over time they've kind of done some Asian fusions with the Mexican food. So they're always kind of revamping the menu there. But what I've found is that they do offer bigger portions. They have shaded seating and then a kind of an indoor outdoor seating area as well. This is all quick service, so you don't need reservations. And I like the food. I love Mexican food in kind of any variety. So I felt like it was always a good place to eat. Another place you can eat there, we talked about Golden Horseshoe. They have a lot of ice creams, a lot of desserts, and then they have your let's see, what is it? Chicken tenders, just some basic food eats, but we love going into Golden Horseshoe, especially sitting up top. Another place you can dine at is River Bell Terrace. So this is a little bit more elevated, but it's really relaxed. It's beautiful inside. So they have indoor and outdoor dining, and really depending on the weather. They often serve brunch or breakfast there, but sometimes they take that option away. So check that before you go. This is a sit down place where you should get reservations. They serve lunch and dinner. It's like pulled pork type of things, really big entrees. And then they typically do special reserved dining for Fantasmic there as well. Currently, Rancho also has the Fantasmic dining package, but again, those things can change because Fantasmic takes place along the rivers of America at night. So there's a lot of places to eat. Another really popular place to eat there is Ship to Shore Marketplace, which is just right by the dock for Sailing Ship Columbia and the Mark Twain. They have those breakfast chimichangas there that are really popular. They tend to sell out. They also have turkey legs there. There's some popcorn stands, all the things that you need to make it a good time in Frontierland. Also, some really great shopping spots. I love the Pioneer Mercantile. They have Westward Ho Trading Company where you can get a lot of your Disney pins and things like that. Oh, one more place I forgot to mention, Stage Door Cafe. That is right next to Golden Horseshoe. They have similar offerings of Golden Horseshoe where you have like chicken tenders and corn dogs, things like that to grab quickly on the go. So I think Frontierland really has a lot more to offer than what there is at first glance. Because most of us just think of it as Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, but there is really a lot of history there, a lot of exploration to be done, and fun to be had. So, see if you see that petrified tree, their regift from Lily and Disney. See it if you can find those old tracks while you're there and tell the stories about what Disneyland used to be like with your friends, with your family while you're exploring around Frontierland. Another thing is to remember to prioritize your lightning lane for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. If you're going to be doing it in the afternoon, you definitely want your lightning lane, but I think you should save the lightning lane till nighttime because I love doing that attraction at nighttime. Next up in our solo series, Becca will be taking us away to another land in the Disneyland Resort, and we can't wait to see what's ahead. Thanks for joining us at Castle Talk Radio, and we'll see you real soon at Disneyland.